During the month of May is our Help Kids Shine campaign in effort to raise funds and awareness for the Niagara Children's Center. Money raised will benefit children and families right here in Niagara. The primary need is funding for additional therapy services. For more information, you can go to our website, www.610cktb.com, and there you can see the 12 ambassadors that are representing the Niagara Children's Center for the 2017 campaign and to truly see what the center can do. Number of ways you can donate online, 610cktb.com/helpkidshine. You can become a Help Kids Shine Club monthly giving club member by calling 905-688-3550, or you can even drop by the Niagara Children's Center, which is an amazing place, so innocuous. Doesn't look like much, just kind of a plain building there. Or you can go to the Niagara Children's Center to see the miracles that go on inside and donate on site. Joining me on the program, she is a physiotherapist at the Niagara Children's Center. Andrea Abbott, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Can you tell me the difference? What's the difference between a physiotherapist and an occupational therapist?
Well, a physiotherapist looks more at gross motor skills, so bigger muscle movements such as rolling, sitting, standing, walking. Whereas an OT or an occupational therapist will look more at daily living, so feeding, bathing, dressing, and they also tend to look more at play and fine motor skills.
Okay, and so how long have you been a physiotherapist at the Niagara Children's Center?
15 years.
Wow. Was that your first job at a school?
Oh, no, I've been a physio for quite a few years now.
Okay, so then what attracted you to go to the Niagara Children's Center?
Well, I've always been passionate about working with kids, and the Niagara Children's Center is the sole children's treatment center in Niagara. So if you want to work with pediatrics, that's the place to be.
What ages do children start to see someone like you? At what age do children start to need physiotherapist services?
Well, I am on the infant team, so I will see infants from as young as 6 weeks, 2 months, up until 2.5 years or 3 years of age.
At that young of an age, what are you trying to develop? Because it seems, having 3 of my own, it's like they barely moved then. What are you trying to develop at such a young age?
Well, at that young age, it's you're right. They're very little. There's not a lot of voluntary control, but we like to get to know the families, develop a relationship with them, give them practical suggestions on how to position their baby at home, work on head control, and then from there we kind of let the baby grow, get a little stronger, and then it's usually around 4 to 6 months that we really start into getting into a little bit more physio hands-on therapy.
What would be a diagnosis that you would see at that young of an age?
It could be spina bifida, Down syndrome, a little one that was born early and might have had a really hard birth, traumatic birth. It really varies. It depends on the child and the needs.
So if a family comes in and their baby's 4 to 6 months, and as you said, you start even earlier with that, maybe to get to know them and get comfortable with each other. If a child comes in, let's say at 6 months, what would be some applications or techniques to help a 6-month-old with their gross motor skills?
Well, we look at the floor mobility, and we try to get that baby to follow a fairly typical developmental course. So working on tummy time, head control, rolling. So we provide lots of exercises, play positions for the family. We use toys a lot for motivation. And we have lots of tricks of the trade to facilitate movement. So if child's having difficulty with tummy time, we might put a roll under their chest to make that easier. So there's lots of things we can do. We try to keep it very practical so that the parents can go home and do these things, and because that's the partnership that we really rely on, is the follow-through at home.
When you, as you said, you've been in this for a couple of decades, and have we changed at all how we provide these services to children? I mean, have you changed how you treat very young patients?
I'm not sure I've changed it. I'm certainly more experienced. It certainly continues to be play-based, and the parents are certainly the primary caregiver and follow through at home. At our center, we are transdisciplinary, which has evolved over time. So for those little ones, we tend to act as a little bit with various hats. So I will act as a PT, OT, and social worker, and even SLP until that child becomes older, because it's just too overwhelming for families to have too many therapists involved at that very young age.
And when you look at when you first started to where they are now, are you starting to treat children at a younger age, thinking that, the earlier we can treat, that the better outcomes there are? Is this a trend, or have you always treated very, very young ones?
We've always tried to get little ones in as soon as possible, because early intervention is very important as far as education, bonding with the families, and better outcomes, certainly. I think that's always been our role here. I think we've always realized that true importance of early intervention.
It's interesting, no matter what it is, it seems the earlier we get at it, the better the results are, whether it's, occupational therapy or physical therapy or language skills. The earlier we get at something, the better the outcomes seem to be. Isn't that right?
Absolutely, yes.
Andrea Abbott, physiotherapist at the Niagara Children's Center. Typically, how often would a patient or a client come in to see you?
Well, it really varies. It depends on the needs of the child and family. If they need really hands-on therapy block, I might see a child once a week. If it's more of a monitoring, I might see them once a month. It could be once every 2 weeks, so it really varies. But the most I could see a child is once a week.
Really? Wow. And then, as you said, because you need to develop a partnership with the parents, it's really the skills that maybe parents learn is so critical, because they're with their child the other 6 days.
Absolutely, and we always tell families that, and we get the families on the floor with us and getting them to practice the exercises, because they what I do 1 hour a week is not going to make a huge difference. It's the follow through at home and that partnership that really creates a better outcome for the child.
Is it always one-on-one, or do you have group sessions where a number of toddlers or infants will be in at one time?
Usually with the infants, it's more one-on-one, but we do have various groups that we run in the center as model of service. So Jump and Jive is one of those, where kids that are independently walking but need more practice and exposure with the next level of gross motor activities, like jumping, climbing stairs, running, higher level balance. That is a really great model of service for those kids that don't need hands-on physio, but they certainly need ongoing exposure and practice to gross motor skills.
Andrea Abbott, I'll just leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for the great work you do over at the Niagara Children's Center. Really appreciate your time today.
Okay, thanks so much.
Andrea Abbott is a physiotherapist over at the Niagara Children's Center. This month, we're helping kids shine with our Help Kids Shine campaign. Lots of ways for you to donate. You can go online, 610ckTB.com/helpkidshine, or call 905-688-3550. Also, at the end of the month, the Help Kids Shine plasma car races are taking place Wednesday, May 30th, 4 to 7. It's at ballhockey.com in St. Catharines, 16 Melbourne Avenue. So teams of 4 adults will race on plasma cars. Have you seen plasma cars? You know what a plasma car is? So it's this plastic car, 2 wheels in the back, sort of a one wheel, but it's really 2 wheels joined into one at the front. And they got these handles, and you can move them back and forth to get them going. And they're pretty cool, actually. We had them in our house. Our kids loved them. My nephews had them. They loved them. Oh, plasma cars are so much fun. But teams of 4 will race on their plasma cars to help raise funds. That'll be added to the Help Kids Shine campaign tally. Now, you can register your team of 4 by going to niagarachildrenscenter.com. Our own Larry Fedoruk will be broadcasting live on location from the plasma car races. And this is sponsored by MNP, your local trusted debt advisor. So MNP, your local trusted debt advisor, thank you for sponsoring the Plasma Car Races. Live in location out at ballhockey.com, all in support of the Help Kids Shine campaign. And again, if you want to register your team of 4, you can go to NiagaraChildrenCenter.com.